Manager.
Big stud. So, folks, we are live. What's happening? I'm here with my boy, old school boy, man. Me and this guy went to high school together like 55 years ago, I think. Carmen Cipolone. What's up, Carmen?
Hey, good morning, Joe. How's everything going?
Well, I want to start out by announcing, guys, that we're going bankrupt. Everything's getting sold. We're selling the real estate. We're selling. No, I'm just kidding. You guys see that Grant Cardone thing yesterday?
Oh, I sure did.
Genius marketing. That guy's going to get half the internet on the call Friday to talk about how he's punking everybody.
There were so many people that were commenting about it. How oh, I knew he was a fake. Blah blah blah. It's like, man.
He got half of your followers to go after and watch that video. I've never even heard of him before. It's freaking marketing genius.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing when it comes to.
Yeah, but let's talk about the truth now for a second, though. I mean, we know there's some spoof stuff going on. We know a guy like that. I'd be really surprised to find out if he's going into bankruptcy, although, crazier things have happened. But there are really people hurting out there, Carmen. I mean, what do you see specifically to the real estate industry? Maybe we'll talk about some outside stuff as well. But, when it comes to your clients, your buyers, your realtors out there, what do you see as the climate? What's happening where you're at? I know you have I should say you have offices all over the country, right? So you're seeing a lot of different markets in real time, the action that's happening out there. So tell us a little bit about what you see going on.
The biggest thing that's going on with everybody is fear. Everyone is trying to get around that. They're not sure what's going to happen. So when they don't know what's going to happen and there's panic and fear that's going around, that affects real estate. It affects mortgage, finance, but also regular normal day life, as we know, being stuck quarantined for what day are we on now?
I don't even know. I mean, I lost count, man. I got to tell you, it hasn't really affected my life that much. Like my 9 to 5, this is what I've done for years. What it's done is it's affected my teams, and we've taken really, I think, proactive action to get shit done. But when it comes to me, man, I couldn't tell you. I've been on quarantine for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. That's, it's good to have the practice going into the actual event. And so, yeah.
But yeah, what day are we on? I think we're on this has got to be day 30 plus, right? It's been over a month.
Yeah, I would say so. And I'm with what I do in my careers out here. I've been doing my thing as well regarding not being stuck where I feel uncomfortable, since it's not new to me doing that. So. Getting back to the real estate in the market, though, with the fear, there's people that are buying and selling, as we know, with the stocks, and with the real estate, people are also they're making decisions either to wait or to see what's going to happen after this all breaks. But then there's also people that are seeing the advantages of the low interest rates that are out there with the banking, so they're taking advantage of buying now. We don't know what's going to happen in the future. With the economy being the way that it is right now, we're seeing that there could be a possibility of a bounce back, and things just going back to normal as soon as people get over, this initial outbreak and getting it cleared out with the virus.
Yeah, I mean, I heard the president speak yesterday briefly, and he said that essentially he's going to do an announcement today. They think the peak has passed. They're going to figure out the rollout plan, getting back to work, getting back to life. However long that takes, we're not sure yet. But it seems like they might have some interest today on how to figure all that out. But in the same time, we're dealing with, programs, the CARES Act, things like that have, supposed to influence the economy and, push us across the finish line. Have you seen any use of that money, or any buyers getting more motivated because they got that stimulus package check?
Not motivated as the stimulus check goes, but people are motivated.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things when it comes to the real estate that everyone that I've gotten a lot of questions in regards to is the forbearance situation, where the government was allowing or letting people know that they're able to be helped out with their mortgage and not having to make those payments. And there's all kinds of different fake news going around. And so that's one of the big things that's been going on, where people are just trying to do the right thing for their families right now. I mean, right now, everyone is just basically trying to figure out what their next move is. So they're trying to pack money. They're trying to save money. For people to buy real estate right now, currently, if you're on a furlough or if unfortunately you got laid off, we'd have to wait until you get back to normal. But there's a lot of people out there in the country that are still working, and they're able to use the financing at this current time.
Well, let's take the furlough thing, for example. What happens if you were just furloughed and, your job is still there? I mean, that's the definition of furlough, right? Meaning like you're laid off temporarily, but we want to bring you back. Is that concept?
Exactly.
So what happens in that state when someone's approved for a mortgage and you're looking to verify their income and verify their employment? Does that count? Does that count against them? Does that mean that they're
it's definitely not a good thing when you're not getting a paycheck right away. But it shouldn't also stop people from continuing to look out for the properties that they're looking to purchase.
Yeah, because when they get back to work, right? You got them qualified again.
Yeah, typically what an underwriter will need is just the most recent pay stub after they go back to work. So they would have to plan accordingly with title and the other people that are in the transaction, letting them know like, hey, look, especially when they get their job and they're going back to work, it typically takes at least a week to get a paycheck. So they would have to communicate that with all the parties to make sure that they're like, okay, well, we can close as soon as we get our first paycheck. So that's one thing that people are really worried about in regards to finding work with as you and I being small business owners, having the impact on not knowing if people are going to be able to open back up or not. A lot of restaurants and a lot of institutions that are really worried about what the economy is going to do. So we got to really just get back on track as soon as we possibly can.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's no doubt that a lot of people are going to get crushed, have been crushed during this thing. We can hope that some of the plans the government has enacted will help to bail some people out. I want to take it back to, I want to talk about that in a minute, but I want to take it back to, because I think there's a really interesting takeaway, potentially beneficial for realtors, something that you just mentioned, is that if you had a pre-qualified buyer and they were furlonged for a reason, right, or furloughed,
yeah.
But they know that they're going to go back to work at the end of May, for example. What you're saying is with that pre-qual, they could go shopping, they could still contract a property if they know they're going to close in June, first week of June, third week of June, whatever. They know they're going to have a job by then and verifiable pay stubs, then they should be good to go on that loan that they were already qualified for?
Well, that's one of the big things as well, is that you can't guarantee anything in real estate until the deal closes. So I would definitely, before you would put an offer in there, have the agent, if we're speaking as you being a real estate agent, which I know you're a broker, you would communicate that with your client and make sure that they're going to be going back to work and making sure that it would be no problems once the crisis that we have goes away.
Okay.
But at the same time as well, I would be giving out a pre-approval letter when you're furloughed. There's no income coming in, there's no money guaranteed. So unfortunately, that wouldn't be a way for you to guarantee to the seller that you're going to be able to do the deal or not. So that would be another thing that you want to be full upfront with in the beginning of the transaction, being like, look, once I go back to work, here's with my company after this crisis goes away, this is what I make. Right now, I'm not making any of that money.
Now, how does unemployment play into that, Carm? Like, so many people I imagine when you get furloughed, you can claim unemployment. When that happens, how does that affect your status with the mortgage company, or does it?
It basically puts it on hold.
Okay.
For the mortgage, you won't be able to fund a loan until you get a paycheck. And if that's not guaranteed with a lot of these people that are furloughed, but then you don't know if the business will open back up or not.
Okay.
So when you communicate that with the listing agent and the seller, it's not guaranteed. So that you would let them know, hey, if there's a person that's ready to buy right now, unfortunately, You got to go where it's available at that exact moment. You can't. Nobody can guarantee if it's going to work or not at the end of the day.
So what do you got your LOs doing right now to be proactive? Are you guys chasing refinances? Are you guys looking to create creative, ways to get people pre-approved? Like what's happening in the industry?
Well, one of the big things that's been going on is with all the noise that's going on with the economy and all the businesses that are currently on pause, interest rates are still very low. There was a huge boom about a month ago where interest rates, more refinances were done in the country than at any given time ever when in mortgage history. So
When was this year?
no, within the last 30 days,
Wow.
45 days. So that's been the lowest it's ever been.
Yeah.
And then about 2-3 weeks into it, the banks got so overwhelmed that basically clogging their pipeline where they weren't able to get things done in a fast manner. So once they're overcapacitated, they raise rates for a little while to fight off the refinances so that they can complete the pipeline.
Gotcha.
So it's been a great time to be in real estate and financing. For people that own homes currently, they're looking at taking out equity to pay off debts or to put into emergency funds. Obviously, as we could tell right now, having reserves in the bank for situations like this is important. And I don't know how many people have been able to do that. And, as we can see with the people that are getting the stimulus that they need to help out with their families.
Well, I think it's interesting, right? In a boom economy, people kind of play loose. It's easy to make winners, right? And I'm not dissing anybody who got caught up in this, but the reality of it is it teaches us, this adversity teaches us the stuff we probably should have been doing all along, right? If you don't have that savings, you don't have that cushion, you're not putting away the cash that you need when something happens. Well, guess what? Something's happening, right? And so I think that for a lot of the businesses that are struggling or got hurt, if they make it out the other end, and I believe a lot of them will, because I think this is going to wrap up a little bit quicker than we hoped, than we initially thought. But on the back end of that, I can see a lot of businesses actually starting to create their own, savings plans and their own wealth management and their own strategy for having some cushion, right? Because they're going to realize, hey, man, I don't want this to happen again. There wasn't a lot of businesses around in 08, 09, 2010 that are here today, right, dealing with this thing. So they're just not used to the adversity.
Well, it really brings out and shows you what people are willing to do when it comes down to this adversity right now. The people that are pushing forward, that are continuing to focus on growing their business and growing their network and finding ways to help people, and aren't really getting caught up in the fear, are going to be the people that are pushing a lot of the public to where they need to be.
Yeah.
The same thing what happened in 2010, like you said, where there was a lot of change was going on. There's a lot of change going on now. The way that people do business, the way that people interact with the technology that we have, that's going to be a big change here in the near future with the way that people conduct themselves on a daily basis.
100%.
We don't know how deep this rabbit hole really is when it comes down to what the government's going to put into the system for social distancing and when they're going to be allowing us to be meeting up in large gatherings because of how dangerous the virus they say is.
Getting back to life, right? Somebody asked the question: Have banks been tightening up their lending requirements? Is there any truth to that? I got something to say on that, but I'm going to ask you that question first. What's going on? What do you see?
Oh yeah, right now with banks and mortgages and the mortgage companies, there's a lot of products that are not available that were available 45 days ago. The non-qualified mortgage market for a lot of people that are self-employed that can't qualify on a conventional mean, like with Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac, a lot of those banks are gone right now.
Yeah.
And so that's been huge. It's been a huge hit because the risk is, especially right now with a lot of homeowners that are not going to be making their mortgage payments, there's a lot of servicing companies that need to still make those payments to their investors.
Yeah.
And especially with the government programs like FHA and VA, the servicer is held to making those payments no matter what. So
yeah, I'd say what's crazy, you're talking residential end, which is not that much different. The commercial side, I've had a couple of our commercial banks proactively, I guess, send out like, hey, if you want to defer your payments, here it is. And the craziest thing in these programs is they say defer interest and payment until July 9th. It's 3 months, and then it's all due on a lump sum. Well, I think to myself, the landlords, they can't make the payment now. What's going to happen in July that's so much different? Like how is that going to implement any type of alleviate any type of burden on your average property landlord or commercial property note holder? It doesn't make any sense to me, right? So it's like it's just like deferring your credit card payments. They're still due. You're still going to owe the money, and
the money's still owed.
Like extending them out. So is that happening with residential as well? I know it's a 6-month window with residential, isn't it?
Well, biggest thing that I let every one of my clients and friends know is contact your servicer. On your mortgage statement that you get in the mail, or if you go online, there's a phone number for every homeowner to call, and they will be the ones that direct them to what their process is. Every bank has a different process. So there's the forbearance process where you can skip 3 payments or 1 payment or 6 payments, depending on how they allow you to do it. But then, like you just said, money's still due at the end of the day. So if you get a 3-month reprieve, and then on the 4th month you owe $10,000 when it's normally 3, you're not going to have the money. Then you contact the bank again, and then they either have another program that will be either extending the time for that or going into a modification situation, where if you have the money, with my advice is pay your mortgage, pay your rent, pay anything that's going to put you into a bad position 10, 12, 5 years down the line, because this is talking about ruining credit. Even though that you've heard that it won't ruin credit and that it won't affect you and all this magic that people sprinkle around to make it sound better than it really is. I wish that the government didn't say that they could do all these things without guaranteeing that with banks up front, because as we saw in 2008, 10, banks did a lot of people dirty. And
and I
hoping that they stay the same.
Yeah, I mean, I built my business through that, so I saw all of that carnage. And somebody just said, these programs aren't helpful; they're predatory. It's crazy because I wonder to myself, like you just said, right? Is a 550, 600 credit score going to become the new norm from all these business owners that are delaying payments because it's still going to hit your credit, right? Is what's going to happen in 3, 6, 9 months when it all catches up to you? Then I think we're going to have the second bubble burst, right? So. I've been pleading to everyone that I know in the business owner space, like if you have bills, pay them. If you can afford to pay them, pay them. If you need to take it, take it. Don't let your ego get in the way. But the reality of it is it's going to come back anyway. So double down on figuring out how you can be proactive, how you can be a revenue generator in this downturn, right? Keep things moving in the right direction. While we're on that subject, I just want to invite anybody who wants to come on. If you guys want to talk mortgages, maybe you're in the real estate industry, maybe you're a realtor, maybe you're just a buyer looking for a property. We're not looking to tell you anything. We're just looking to give you some good advice. So if you'd love to hop on and go live, I know it's 8 a.m. and a lot of people are just crawling out of bed because of everybody's on spring break. But if you guys want to come on live, if you're brave enough to come on live with us right now, we got about 10 more minutes left here with Carm. We'll talk business, we'll talk real estate, we'll talk mortgages, talk forbearance, whatever it is you want to cover. And, we got some time here for you. So Matt will drop in the comments here a link if you guys want to hop on, and it'll just direct you right to that. So, Carm, what didn't we cover? What do you think are some other highlights?
Well, number one, it's 5 a.m. here, so it's super fun getting up this time of day to get on live TV.
Come on, you get up at 4:30 every morning, don't you?
I do, but it's a little different having to get out of bed and get in the shower and get the coffee going. But I love it.
We're in the middle of your morning routine right now.
Right now, we're getting a lot of things are going to get done today, and I'm excited for it.
Nice.
And that's the way that I've been focusing on how we need to, go about this virus situation is the more motivation, the more focus that you have on getting things done. Maybe there's a lot of projects that are out there that you've been hoping to do and you've been putting it off because you don't have the time. Well, now here's the time. So it's been nice to be able to get a lot of tasks that I had on my list done, and I'm sure you do the same thing.
Yeah.
Regarding the real estate, you were asking me about is there any proof about any restrictions with the lending guidelines? And we didn't really touch as much as I wanted to on that, but yeah. So restrictions are obviously, if the banks aren't sure that they're going to get their payments, then they're getting scared. So a riskier client in the 640 below range, unfortunately, a lot of times the statistics show that they will be the ones that won't be able to make the payments if situations happen. So right now, with the banks not knowing if they're going to get their money or not, they're not trying to put as much risk out on the table as they were. And the credit scores with FHA, which has always been around 580, has been pretty much a benchmark for FHA government loans. That's been pushed up to 640 right now. And it all depends upon the mortgage company that you work with. They're called overlays, where they can put to make sure that they protect themselves as well with hedging.
Sure.
There's a lot of EPOs. I'm not sure if you know what those. Have you heard of EPOs before regarding mortgages?
No.
And so, a lot of times where if the investor gives you a certain amount of time to make sure that the payments are being made when the loan is sold in the secondary market. And now a lot of the loans that have been done recently, a lot of the clients are calling in, seeing if they can skip that payments and do the forbearance. And that puts a lot of strain on the mortgage company that actually sold the loan, because if they don't make the payments in the very beginning, they could default very quickly. And the mortgage company would have to then pay and buy back that loan and have it underneath their own servicing portfolio.
So I hear you saying there's some challenges with getting qualified. You're going to need better credit. You're going to need pretty much stable income. You're going to, and the downside to that is it's going to wipe, a percentage of buyers out of the market. But looking at it from the bright side, on the real estate's perspective, from a realtor's perspective, going forward in this next 30, 40, 60, 90 days, they can expect that people that are qualified are going to be hypothetically better qualified clients, right? So we're going to have some good buyers to move forward to. You might not see deals fall apart because of lending restrictions and things like that. I mean, do you see that happening in the next couple of months where more qualified people will hit the market?
I mean, this is the busiest I've been. Tell you the truth, right now, once one door closes, another one's going to open up. So if one group of people aren't able to be qualified, then there's a lot of people that have been sitting and not in the game in real estate, holding their money in cash, waiting for something like this to happen. I mean, we've been foreshadowing this for a while, where with the market being as bull as it has been for the last 5-10 years, that at some point it was going to be a dipping. And so those investors are coming back into the market, and they're flooding. They're getting to the point where they see the opportunity, they see blood on the street, so they want to take advantage of it while they can. So moving forward with the purchase business, I see it being very, very busy. It apparently is, and I think it's going to continue with the rates being as low as they are. Everybody deserves to make sure that they have the best terms on their mortgage as they can, especially nowadays with the rates being in the low 3s. I've even seen some rates in the 2s, depending upon a person's portfolio or credit qualification. So it's good to at least see what's out there and to make sure that you're able to save as much money as you can, because at the end of the day, it's your money. And if you're giving a bank more interest than you should, you're doing a disservice to your family. So it's good to figure that out and make sure you're on that path.
Yeah, I think it's interesting in a lot of ways. Again, I'm not taking away from people who are getting really hurt in this thing, but a lot of entrepreneurs have been foreshadowing this downturn in the market for 2-3 years. You heard it was going to happen in 18, then it was 19, and then it was the end of 20. It's going to happen. This bump in the road, this drop in the economy, it kind of happened. It's super fast for a lot of people who maybe weren't prepared for it. But the people that have been thinking about it for years, they're taking advantage of this opportunity. They're finding more effective ways to do business. I mean, we have some of our best deals ever available. You know, we're doing some development stuff for investors. And so now it's like in this crazy downturn where people are starting to get restricted, you're starting to see the good stuff start to pop up, which is cool. And I think for a lot of people, again, like you said, sitting on the sidelines with cash, now's the opportunity to take advantage of the crazy good deals.
I mean, they're out everywhere I go. I'm seeing them. You know, I'm invested all across the country, and we have deals going on in Chicago right now, and also with our partners down in Florida. And you just see it's just crazy like the differences 30 days will do in regards to dropping prices. People are just trying to get their money out and sell as soon as they can.
Yep.
And a lot of these people are just buying it all up. So it's exciting times. It's scary times, but when it's scary, it should be exciting. So people like ourselves that are able to, you know, iron sharpens iron, get together, we mastermind, we have different ideas and ways to help each other and our partners. That's what people should be doing right now. You know, Tiger King is cool, but you know, you're burning brain cells on that show when you could be talking with your friends, your colleagues, and in this game planning ways to just manifest, you know, that extra sources of income that's out there on the market right now. I mean, so many people are selling all different types of things, trying to help people out, getting people into the right situations, like the face masks. And, you know, I'm sure there's a lot of people that are out there just packing on the pounds because of just sitting at home.
I call it the COVID-20, man. I'm pretty confident that half the nation's going to gain the COVID-20.
Yeah. I mean, it's scary to see where the lack of exercise and how quickly that pounds can get added on. You know, people need to be out there exercising, getting those reps in, so that when this is lifted, they're not going to be embarrassed getting on the beach. Get
some fresh air, man. And I think I love about the Northeast. I've been saying maybe I've just been trying to find the opportunity and the optimism in this thing, but I swear the weather has been absolutely perfect since we've been locked in our house. I mean, I've been 6 weeks of like just sun and 70s, and it's like, man, I've never seen a March, April so nice.
But, I mean, I think Alanis Morissette might have another song on her way here. It's definitely ironic, isn't it? When you think about it.
All right, brother. I'm going to be respectful of your time. Wrap it up. I got an 8:30 to hop onto, but man, that was a good interview. I appreciate it. I hope the folks that were watching this got some great value. If you did, all we ask you to do is share it. We're doing this for free, trying to put a hand out there to people that are looking to for some help and some process and some thoughts. Carmen, how can people reach you?
Well, my website's www.thecimpolonegroup.com, and I'm here for any advice that people need. I'm not, you know, the main goal here is to put people in the right position for themselves with real estate financing, so they can go on my website. I'm on Facebook, and then my cell is always on, so 570-764-1494, and you know, let me know what I can do to help anyone out with any questions they have. And if I don't know the answer, because I don't know them all, wish I did, I have the right power partners that will be able to get me that answer very quickly. So let me know what I can do to help.
Listen, I can attest to that. Carm's one of the best in the business. If you're a realtor or you're an investor or you're a home buyer and you want to get into the real estate game, make sure you guys connect with Carm. Guy is nonstop working 24 hours a day to make sure he's taking care of his clients. So Carmen Cipolone, I appreciate you, man. Catch up.
All right, brother. I appreciate you. You have a nice day, man.
You too.
Bye.